Has life ever caught you off guard? Some things you just can't see coming. Jesus taught how you can be prepared no matter what. Jesus said, watch for traps and pray. Good morning and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus Said comes from two different books in the New Testament, Matthew 26 and Luke 22, and we'll start in Matthew 26, verse 41, reading today from the NET translation. Jesus said, "Stay awake and pray that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." And then in Luke 22:46, so he said to them, "Why are you sleeping? Get up and pray that you will not fall into temptation." Now, these two accounts in Scripture are from the Garden of Gethsemane, the night before Jesus was crucified. And in context, he's talking to his disciples that he had asked to come with him and to pray with him. And he went away to pray for about an hour, and they couldn't even stay awake an hour. And he said, "You couldn't even last an hour? You couldn't stay awake?" But Jesus was telling them to pray because he knew what they were about to face. He knew that he was about to be arrested and crucified. And he knew that they would need strength to not run away. So what did they need to face that trouble that was on the way? Jesus said they needed to watch and pray, but they didn't. So when the going got tough, they got going. They ran away when Jesus was arrested. If the last couple of years has taught us anything, it's that we don't really know what's ahead. We sometimes can't even imagine the difficulties that we will face. So how do we avoid the traps? How do we avoid temptation? Life is filled with traps. You've probably seen the cell phone video of a person, on their phone walking down the street and they fall into a hole because they're not watching where they're going. Jesus said, watch and pray so we won't fall into temptation. If we have the right focus, if we keep our eyes on Jesus, we won't blindly stumble into the traps. But our flesh, our humanity, our emotions, and even our selfish desires are the biggest trap in our way. In Matthew 26, Jesus said, "The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." And he asked his disciples, couldn't you stay awake? Couldn't you pay attention for even an hour? They needed that time of prayer because our flesh is weak. So the question is, what would Jesus ask us today? Because we need time with Jesus. Would he be asking, couldn't you even spend 5 minutes on me today? Couldn't you read the Bible even a few minutes today? Couldn't you even show up to church to encourage someone else once a week? Some of the latest statistics say that those who call themselves evangelicals in America, that would be those who consider themselves very religious, that they only spend an average of 2 minutes a day in prayer. And if you think that's bad, they surveyed pastors, and pastors on average only spend 5 minutes a day in prayer. But Jesus said, watch and pray so that you can see the traps. We need time with Jesus. And an hour a day may seem impossible, but be honest. How much time are you actually setting aside each day? What's on your calendar? And how can you increase that? Well, don't try to start with an hour. Start small. Jesus said in Luke 16:10, "The one who is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. And the one who is dishonest in a very little is also dishonest in much. If you aren't setting aside time every day to be with Jesus, start small and be faithful with it and watch it grow. Maybe start with 5 minutes a day. If you are already doing that, add 5 minutes. Put it on your calendar. Set your alarm 5 minutes earlier. Make a place to shut out distractions. Make a commitment to do that for a week. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. We need to watch and pray. That's where the power to resist comes from. Is Jesus trying to wake you up and asking, couldn't you spend an hour in prayer? Jesus said, watch for traps and pray. How can you put that into action today? Thank you so much for listening to this. If these 5-minute segments are meaningful to you, it really means a lot to me. If you like it, if you share it, if you comment, I really appreciate you. And I hope that you have an amazing day. And I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. And remember to follow Jesus today. Love first.